let's tease something else.
Let's do. Our hair?
Perhaps, what's that?
Our hair? No?
No.
Okay.
No.
Immediate tweets and Reddit posts about wanting to bring it back.
Your fault.
All my fault.
Totally,
I take full blame.
Hello, everybody at the Schwantz27's channel. It's DJ Vaughn on the Wicked Ones and Twos, here to talk to you about our latest operation, which goes live today, but only for the PS4, the superior platform solely on the basis of monetary compensation to Activision. This operation, Apocalypse Z, is basically the Attack of the Undead idea from Call of Duty World War II, but of course worse, just like the contracts concept. This season of content is probably the least amount of new work in a DLC ever. We've recycled assets from our past games in all 3 different game modes for this zombie-themed operation because Treyarch is the greenest company around. Most of the cosmetics in this trailer as well aren't in the contraband system and instead locked behind an RNG grind wall with reserves due to a precise mathematical model that both myself and Activision came up with to maximize profit while minimizing negative backlash, but more on that later.
Well, guess what Idiot Craig decided? Let's put them all in one map. Really is, I was going to say literally the tip of the iceberg, but that's not true. It's figuratively the tip of the iceberg. I think the overall map is, if it was like that, it's more like that.
We've got a very complicated relationship with icebergs this year.
Well, we don't make stories. That's the chaos story, so just keep that to the side. Just keep that to the side.
Since this is an operation that's all about the mode where you run around in circles for hours on end at just out of arm's reach, let's start with zombies. And no, we still have nothing about factions, even though it was promised to be delivered during the last operation. And it's nowhere to be found on this roadmap, which is a thing that all games need to have nowadays because we overpromise and underdeliver empty vessels of games that you have to justify spending your hard-earned money on. The new zombies experience is called Alpha Omega, and the reason why we threw the letter Z on the end of the name of the operation, Apocalypse Z, is because we tried to show off that we know Greek with the name of the new zombies experience, Alpha Omega. Get it? Alpha and Omega are the first and last letters of the Greek alphabet, and A and Z are the first and last letters of the alphabet for Apocalypse Z. Since that phrase means it's the end-all, be-all for us here at Treyarch, we're of course doing Nuketown for zombies. Again, because we're still trying to wring monetization out of this map. Since the developers did all that work for Nuketown Island and Blackout, we're going to port that entire thing over to zombies and claim that it's a new experience because it's much easier to run trains with a bigger map, 4 times the size to be precise. Also, this is the first time we've had both the Ultimus and Primus crews in one place, which brought upon ourselves twice as much voiceover work that you can continue to not pay attention to, but maybe that's just my implicit desire to have someone interact with me besides calling me names on Reddit and Twitter. There's also a new perk called Blood Wolf Bite, which will allow you to spawn a guard dog like Nomad Specialist ability, but this time to annoy zombies instead of other players.
Can a zombie drive an ARAV? The answer is no. We consulted with MIDI zombies and not good drivers. Not good drivers.
Since there are already zombies in Blackout, we had to do something else to commit to the concept of this operation, so we took the apocalypse word to heart with a new map update that looks like the end of the world, including a thick layer of fog because nobody likes sniping little shit stains anyways, and red rivers of blood like die during Halloween, which probably would have been a better time for this operation. However, we were way too busy fixing launch bugs due to the 1 month too early window. There are new zombie types because there already was AI in a battle royale to distract you from playing the actual game, along with destructible doors that can now be broken down by our Jehovah's Witness zombies that know you're home and are just not answering the doorbell. We've also updated Alcatraz, but this time at night because it makes sense for trying to escape from the prison since the only actual escape at the island prison was overnight. Additionally, we're reusing portals to spawn wardens and hellhounds but it's too bad you won't get max ammo from killing them since supplies become low after so many respawn waves of killing players with shit loot. We also showed off some items in the trailer that are in the never-ending coming soon black hole, like an infected type game mode called Pandemic that's an easy port over for multiplayer, and a motorcycle vehicle with a sidecar to really drive home the point that Blackout is just PUBG with a COD skin. Of course, also in the trailer are 3 new cosmetic characters that unfortunately can't be unlocked by just playing the game like a douche canoe for a challenge, but instead behind loot boxes and reserve crates. First is Russman from the Victus crew, because black people are always the first to die in horror films. Danny Trejo from the original Black Ops, when we hired actors to play characters that everybody will grow to not care about and not even bother to do the work to create a backstory for a character that the actor portrays. He's just himself. And M Shadows, because we've somehow run out of interesting characters to use that tie into zombies, so why not put in a singer that can't scream at scary things anymore because he blew his voice out.
It's a dream come true. I mean, I think. I can't wait to see what kind of videos people make of my character. Our fans are gonna have a good time with it, and I'm expecting a lot of, shenanigans with my character for sure.
When has the internet ever engaged in shenanigans? Really?
Yeah, this will be the first time, right?
Rumor on the street is like you've got a pretty respectable KD.
Speaking of new characters, we're introducing a new specialist, and by new, of course, we mean one that is not only from a previous game, but one that is already in this game, paywalled in Blackout, when characters weren't supposed to be, with Reaper. We've stopped introducing brand new characters after the negative response from Zero, and of course, the fact that we're now forced to split our time between this game and Call of Duty 2020, so the only specialists that you'll probably get are ones from our previous game. For Reaper, his specialist ability is the Scythe, but instead of having a cool arm transform animation that was out of the question, he now just somehow pulls a giant fuck-off minigun out of his ass that will shred anything, including score streaks, which we've constantly been relegating to second fiddle compared to the cooldown abilities.
Fires big bullets that do a lot of damage.
Please, hold on. For some of our newer players, can you please explain how that works?
Yeah, sorry, I'll slow down.
It's about yay big, and it does about yay damage.
Just
His specialist equipment is Radar Shroud, basically the opposite of Recon Center Dart, to obfuscate the Fog of War map in a circular area because we needed more ways to incentivize camping. There are also new maps, but for Black Ops Pass owners only, since we have to support this publisher-mandated anachronistic in 2019 have and have-nots artificial splintering of the community. Since Hacienda Twilight has been so well received, even more night maps are coming with Remnant and Der Schatten. Since there are lots of zombies maps named in German, we did the bare minimum effort to follow that precedent with Der Schatten, or The Shadow. It's a giant map with a giant crash robot, because apparently there aren't enough of those already in multiplayer with Reaper, reusing assets from Der Eisendrache in the backdrop. Remnant is another giant map with 7 hard points and a frankenfuck of even more parts of different zombies maps. Moon, Voyage of Despair, Verrucht, Shangri-La, and Transit, but thank fuck for fake lava, all set in a museum. And there is a part of the map that reuses the teleporter concept because we here at Treyarch can't figure out how to fix our laggy netcode and shitty servers, so we decided to turn it into a feature instead. Lastly is not actually a new map, but Havana, of course, not reskinned because we got away with it via WMD. We needed a non-convoluted, smaller map to go with the other two, even though this map used to hold 18 players on it, and it only needs to hold the maximum of 12 in the, quote, chaotic 6v6 game modes. We're also giving players new game modes, and of course, by new, I mean ones that were standard in prior Call of Duty games, but since the player population isn't big enough to keep them all alive anymore, we've morphed them into limited time offerings. Returning is Infected, but no other zombies infesting multiplayer ideas, in spite of a blueprint from the prior Call of Duty game, and Sticks and Stones because we finally got around to adding a crossbow that wasn't earned via cooldown. Oh, and also so you can now play a game mode that contains a primary and secondary that are both locked behind a paywall to lure you into buying more COD points in order to open more RNG crates. The other new weapon besides the crossbow is yet again not a new weapon, but one that was a base gun in a prior game that you will now have to pay for again with the Argus shotgun. When exactly in the contraband stream do you unlock all these items, you ask? Well, there are 40 tiers in the contraband stream, but here's another brilliant idea that Activision and I came up with. Instead of getting them in the contraband stream, they are both locked behind a paywall, since we generously gave you the option of not watering down the loot pool and being able to earn only weapons out of crates with the weapon bribe. But of course, it's really not to give you more ways to earn weapons, just the perception of it, since now you can't actually earn weapons by grinding the game anymore, only by RNG and of course money, since Activision is spelled with a $sign after all.
If anyone wants stuff done in Call of Duty, you hit me up and I'll bug the crap out of Vaughn.
Note to self.
Yeah.